Good morning, family. This is Ricky, and welcome to Hope for Today. Happy Tuesday. It's January 23rd, the year of our Lord, 2024. Praying for you that you're having a good week. Thank you so much for being with us here at Hope for Today. I want to talk about hospitality. I want to talk about going the extra mile for people. I want to talk about seeing yourself not as a conduit that solely exists for God's blessings to you, but rather as an extension of God's blessings to others. And this is what I want to submit to you, that's where life is. That's where contentment is. That's where a lot of joy is. That's where a lot of peace is. That's where purpose is. Not when you're just living your life to accumulate accolades and materialistic things for you, but rather existing to give yourself away and make differences in the lives of others. Friend, I'm trying to tell you, your life will go better. Your heart will feel better. People will feel better about you when you understand that ours is an others-centered gospel. And I think one of the best applications through which we can achieve that is to seek to be hospitable in the lives of the people that are around us. What's your hospitality look like? 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 8 is the story of King David after having made a mistake, being rebuked by Nathan the prophet. So in this passage, Nathan is speaking for God as God is talking to David about his outrageous hospitality on behalf of David. Verse 8 says, God is talking, "And I gave you your master's house and your master's wives into your arms, and gave you the house of Israel and of Judah. And if this were too little, I would add to you as much more." Now the story is actually going in a certain direction, but essentially what I want you to see here from God is that God was saying to David, there is no good thing that I've kept from you. That my love for you was shown with evidences of grace and love and gifts and resources and this and that. In other words, God is saying, David, my love for you is shown with all of this hospitality I show your way. And this ought to be indicative of every last one of us as Christian people, that people ought to be able to say about us, that's a nice guy. He did this for me. She's a nice gal. She always does this for me. And I want to warn us that if that's not the testimony, at least some of the time, there may be some things going on in our heart that we need to check under the hood for. Hospitality is important. There's a book called Unreasonable Hospitality. It's written by a guy named Will Guidara. Will Guidara owns the famous restaurant. It's called 11th Manhattan or 11th anyways, it's a famous restaurant in New York. It's 3-star Michelin rated, which is the highest restaurant rating you can have, right, period. He's a chef, he's a restaurateur, but he's always seeking ways to be unusually hospitable to his clients because he's just big on that. So the story is told of Will, as the owner of the restaurant, bussing tables, because one of the things he was cognizant to do was to make sure that all the employees understood that there was no job that was beneath any of us. So as the owner, he would bus tables, and he's bussing tables, and he's overhearing the conversation of this group who was in town in New York that was next to the table that he was bussing. They're talking about all these great things that they experienced and the wonderful meal that they'd had that night. But the only thing they lamented was that they didn't get a classic New York hot dog. Will drops his bussing table and he goes outside of the restaurant, goes a couple of blocks down and buys about 4 or 5 New York hot dogs from the hot dog stand on the corner. Takes them back to his chef, has them cut up ever so delicately, puts the nice little plop of sauerkraut and the high-end mustard and a little garnish, and he brings them in this Michelin 3-star restaurant, sliced up New York hot dogs, and these folks could not believe it. They said, we're never, ever gonna stop telling this story. And my question as we talk about hospitality is this: who needs some hot dogs from you? Who needs an unusual extension of grace and sacrifice on your part to show them that you care and that you have concern and that you have love for them. Praying for you to have a hot dog day. And that's hope for today. I'll see you next time.